So recently, it looks like people want to quit Funko Pop collecting over the latest LE release from One Piece Zoro Egghead. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with recent news on my post or anybody else's post, we finally got first looks at the new limited edition Zoro from Egghead. This is 3,500 pieces exclusive to Hot Topic. Now, why are people wanting to quit collecting over this? A lot of people say this all the time for different releases. If they get frustrated, we've had plenty of pretty crazy releases in the past, like GameStop, for example, getting a ton of LE exclusives. They got the Sanji, for example, which a lot of people hated hunting for that in person. It was a little easier than most releases, though, considering. But let's take a look farther into the past on one of their more popular drops, like Tusk from Solo Leveling at 9,500 pieces, same as Sanji, but it was an absolute nightmare to get. It was one of their first in-store releases, and half the employees had no idea what people were talking about, or people waited from like 4 a.m. This was not an online drop thing. It was only in store. And part of the reason why it was only in store was this was Funko trying to create more hype around the specific product and get people more in the stores shopping for Funko, talking about Funko and all that. So they required these stores getting these limited edition pieces to do something special with the release. And that's how we got the in-store only releases. The same thing happened with their Frieren drop with Chalice Collectibles, their 5,000 piece Frieren pop. People were very upset how they dropped that. They had to do something special, so they did some signed, and they sold unsigned versions over on their Whatnot page. Now, was this the best way to go about it? It's up to the specific person, because a lot of people were able to get it, a lot of people were not able to get it. They did drop it in the buy it now when they said they were going to on the hour, every hour, so a lot of people were able to get it that way. One of the worst ways to drop it was Even. Now, that already gave a lot of people a bad taste in their mouth for Whatnot, unfortunately. And then we had Even's crazy exclusive Goku drop, where they were locking it behind a million paywalls, and it was just a whole joke of a release. That is probably one of the worst LE releases we've had to date. Now, combine that with some really bad Funko Shop releases, even with the requirements for points. Putting up a wall against bots, it still goes super quick, or the website has a lot of glitches, like Star Killer, for example, or some of their other recent LE exclusives. So I can't really say it's a surprise as to why people would be unhappy as to how Hot Topic is releasing their LE exclusive this time around, and especially with it being a very popular character, Zoro, in his Egghead outfit, given it's one of his best looks in the anime and manga. So like I said, no real surprise as to why people are super upset over this release. Now, do I think it's worth quitting collecting over? Not necessarily. I saw a lot of different comments of people saying they don't even want to collect One Piece anymore, they want to stop collecting Funko altogether. And like I said, I don't really think this is a reason to quit collecting, but I understand that it's super frustrating. I still think it's cool that we got the limited edition One Piece exclusive like this. I think it's a weird choice with Zoro, though, given all the other Egghead outfits are commons, and they would sell a lot more with it not being an LE exclusive. It was just a weird choice in general. I think this was great for characters like Charlotte Pudding over at Chalice, as well as the, Whole Cake Sanji. Those weren't as sought after designs. I truly believe that's what's perfect for the LE line, and then Funko every once in a while throws in a crazy curveball of a very popular character, like Art the Clown, for example, at 750 pieces. I knew it was coming. I figured they were going to do a very popular horror icon, and they've made so many Terrifier pops lately that now they gave Art the Clown that treatment, and when this drops, people are going to be super upset. Look at what happened with the Chase. It was trending for over $500 at one point. This new Art the Clown is probably going to top that at 750 pieces in the entire world. Now, don't get it confused, guys. Just because I'm mentioning that it's pretty crazy that they're putting certain characters at such low pieces, I'm fine with limited edition releases. If I don't get it, it is what it is. If I really want it, I will pay whatever the aftermarket price is. That is just part of collecting in any hobby, whether it's TCG cards, comic books, sneakers. I could go on and on. There's so many hobbies out there where they'll make a limited edition release item and it gets super expensive. That's just the name of the game sometimes. Again, super weird choice to make Zoro an LE though. Now, if you missed my post or one of my recent videos talking about how Hot Topic is deciding to release this limited edition exclusive, they are following GameStop's style where it's going to be an in-store only release, but what makes it harder is this is going to be one of the most limited in-store releases so far. Unless you're counting like the Funko Shop ones where they drop some of the like 1,200 piece covers at Funko Hollywood, technically, yes, but I would say this one's gonna be much harder to get than Funko Hollywood solely because there are a lot of Hot Topic stores. It's not guaranteed to be at every single one. And Hot Topic won't be receiving all 3,500 stock. We've known this for a while, that the stock gets split up between the United States and, overseas. So Hot Topic's realistically only going to get 1,500 to 2,000 pieces of that 3,500 stock. And like I mentioned, in-store only release, they have a lot of stores over the United States. So that really only leaves like maybe 2 to 5, 3 to 6, somewhere around that range per store, depending on how they do it. Now, the original listed street date was February 11th. Given we haven't really heard anything yet from Hot Topic, we haven't seen a soft announcement or a teaser or anything, I really don't think it's going to release on the 11th, so I would not bet on taking, the day off work for anything, or, if you want to try to wait in line. I wouldn't bet on that just yet. Like, myself and plenty of other news pages will most likely update you guys if anything changes or if we get something confirmed, but I don't want to say, hey, it's dropping on the 11th, take off work, go spend 8 hours in line to try to get this, and then you get nothing and it didn't actually happen. I would really rather work with more hard confirmed information so you guys do not waste your time. Now, do I think this is the best way to drop a limited exclusive? I don't know, because as you saw, we went through a couple methods in this video. Some stores tried it on Whatnot, on their own pages. Even did their own thing. Chalice did their own thing, which was much better than what Even did. Funko drops it on the website. Sometimes it requires points, sometimes it doesn't. They have a 3-day window to where it's exclusive to fan rewards points, and then it goes on general sale. Most of them sell out before general sale even happens. You have other places that drop their LE exclusives like Entertainment Earth straight on their website. LE Sung Jinu, and that was at 9,500 pieces, and that crashed the website. Like, that crashed the website for a good hour. A lot of people were able to get it before it sold out. A lot of people were left with bad taste in their mouth because they just weren't prepared for that kind of traffic, unfortunately. And then again, in-store releases like Tusk, where you have to randomly try to find it in store. Hope they even have it in the store, if they're even willing to give you that information. It's hit or miss with GameStop employees. So what is the best way to release this? Genuinely. The Funko shop, maybe so far with the point requirement, seems to stop bots. But I saw a lot of people saying, hey, let's do an online release for this. That's fair for everybody. How is that possibly fair for everybody when it can just be botted? Once they know the SKU number, or whatever number Hot Topic specifically leaves you, once they have a direct link to it, once they know the drop time, it's over. It is over. That's going to go like that. That's going to be one of the fastest limited edition releases ever because it's One Piece. People know One Piece sells, it's going to resell. So in my opinion, online is not the best way to do this unless it's requiring a point requirement like Funko does, or some kind of lottery system that guarantees it to majority fans. Because again, there's no real perfect way to do this, but I would say those two options are the best. Now, one other big argument I saw is that there's a lot more hype for this solely because it's LE. I mean, duh. I feel like that's kind of a given, but I think a lot more people are hyped for it in general because One Piece is one of the most popular anime on the planet. Zoro is one of the most popular anime characters ever. And like I said before, this is one of his best looking fits. We already have several of the Straw Hats in Egghead looks, and then they randomly do a 3,500 piece. So it just doesn't make sense. So of course people are going to be upset. Of course people are going to be hyped up for it, and they're going to want it because they want to complete their Egghead sets. That is a very weird argument to make, saying, oh, if it was a common, it wouldn't be this hyped up. I mean, yeah, but I think it would still sell very well as a general release versus everybody fighting for it as an LE release. It's going to sell out, they're going to make money, but if you really look at it from a logic standpoint, it made more sense to make this a general release and then something else from Egghead an LE release, like a different character. It's an interesting situation all around. It's going to frustrate a lot of people, but I really don't think just because you didn't get one specific pop, it's worth quitting something over. I would have quit a long time ago if I was angry a lot in past videos over missing so many releases, but I didn't quit. It's a frustrating experience sometimes to not be able to get what you want. It's more than fine to feel that way, but once you quit collecting something over it, that's where it just feels like some people are just taking it too far, and it feels like we're just acting like children because we didn't get what we want. And technically, how many people asked for more limited releases? So we're getting what we want. It feels like one of those situations where you can't really win as a company because you give them what they want, they complain. You don't give them what they want, they complain. LE releases are just not going to make everybody happy, but Funko has made so much money and it has had so much more hype brought to it since they started this program that it's definitely done more good than bad for the company. I genuinely feel that. I don't know though, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. I think people are being a little silly on wanting to quit collecting over it. I would say just if you're not able to get in store, you're willing to pay a higher price for it if you really want in your collection, then go that route. If not, move on. They're going to make other Zoro pops. We're going to get an Elfbath Zoro in a couple months. We have the really cool King of Hell Zoro. There's plenty of other Zoro options. I understand this is one of his best looks, but just move on. We can't get them all. We can't. We just can't. So that's my advice to everybody, and I just wanted to kind of say my 2 cents on it because people are going crazy over this Zoro release, which I figured they were going to. I heard murmurs and rumors about this for a while, and that's why you guys didn't really see anything from me for a while until more things were a little more confirmed. But once I heard something about this, I was like, man, this is going to go really, really south, like really south. So I'm excited to see how the whole release goes. I'm also not, because I know so many people are just going to be bummed and upset, but genuinely, guys, it's okay if you miss out on something. Unless it's like a super unfair release. I think this is an interesting way Hot Topic's going about it, but to say it's not fair, I don't know if that's really the case because they only get so much stock. Really, this is a Funko choice of choosing a very popular character for this Ellie status. I would say one of the few situations that was just absolutely ridiculous was like how we had a surplus stock of plenty of other NYCC exclusives, and then Itachi only dropped 1,500 to 2,000 online for people who didn't attend the con. That made no sense. I was like, how are you gonna make every Susanoo with a lot more stock than Itachi, and then you drop one of the most popular ones, barely any stock at the Comic Con, barely any stock online, and it's like, what? 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 You could have made so much more money. And granted, Comic-Con exclusive, so it's supposed to be limited. But if you were only going to drop a few thousand anyways, you might as well put a limited edition sticker on there at the piece count, because this was a weird drop. This should have had a lot more stock compared to some of the other ones that didn't sell out at that con. Okay, I'm done with this topic today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video was insightful and informative, and I'll give you guys more release updates on Zoro when, you know, those are kind of known. But for now, hit the like button down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe and click that notification bell if you're new here. I do want to say a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure you follow me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.